On a quiet Tuesday evening in Louisville, a massive cargo jet roars down the runway. Then, in seconds, something goes deeply wrong. An engine tears away, flames burst out. In less than a minute, a routine flight from the hub of one of the world's biggest logistics companies ends in chaos. Today, we're unraveling the full story of the crash of UPS Airlines Flight 2976, the real-time sequence, what investigators know so far, and the major implications for aviation safety and global shipping. If you want to understand why this accident shocked the world and what must change next, stay with me. And if you're new here, hit subscribe so you don't miss the full investigation when it comes. Let's begin. The aircraft was a McDonnell Douglas MD-259UP, operated by UPS Airlines. The flight was scheduled as UPS 2976, call sign 5X2976, from Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport, SDF, Louisville, Kentucky, to Daniel K. Inouye International Airport, HNL, Honolulu, Hawaii. The aircraft type is an older model originally built in 1991. The hub at Louisville, known as Worldport, is a key node in UPS's global logistics network, making this accident particularly disruptive. UPS issued a statement. At approximately 5:20 p.m. ET on November 4, 2025, the accident occurred. The flight departed from SDF, taxiing for takeoff on runway 17R. At about 5:13 to 5:15 p.m. local time, takeoff thrust was called and the aircraft began its climb. Roughly 37 seconds after takeoff thrust was applied, a repeating warning bell began in the cockpit. At the same time, surveillance and eyewitness footage showed the left-hand engine/pylon assembly detach from the wing, and a large fire emerged in the left wing area. The cockpit voice recorder shows the bell continued for about 25 seconds as the crew attempted control. The aircraft climbed only briefly. Estimates suggest it reached under 200 feet above ground before rolling left and losing control. It crashed just beyond the end of the runway into an industrial area near Fern Valley Road and Grade Lane in Louisville, exploding into a fireball and spreading wreckage across a wide debris field.
All three crew members on board, Captain Richard Wartenberg, First Officer Lee Truitt, International Relief Officer Captain Dana Diamond, were killed in the crash. On the ground, multiple people were killed and injured when the aircraft struck buildings. The death toll stands at 14 confirmed fatalities, including the 3 crew and 11 on the ground. At least 15 people were injured on the ground. The scene prompted a large-scale emergency response. Thick black smoke, a fire that stretched nearly a city block, and a half-mile debris field. The National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, is leading the investigation. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, issued an emergency airworthiness directive after the crash. Both the cockpit voice recorder, CVR, and flight data recorder, FDR, were successfully recovered from the wreckage despite the fire. The CVR contained over 2 hours of good quality audio, including the final 25 seconds where the warning bell rang. Maintenance records show that in September, there was a crack in a structural piece inside the center wing fuel tank of this aircraft. Investigators are also looking at long-term maintenance history and repair work. FAA records show that this particular aircraft had a prior repaired crack on the left engine pylon in 2019.
Because of the engine pylon detachment and potential systemic risk, the FAA prohibited flights of MD-11 aircraft pending inspection. Both UPS and FedEx Corporation grounded their MD-11 fleets as a precaution. This isn't just an aviation accident. It disrupted global logistics. The Louisville Worldport hub is central to UPS's network. Halting or reducing operations ripples across shipping, e-commerce, and the supply chain. The fact that a cargo aircraft detached an engine/pylon during takeoff raises serious questions about aging fleets, maintenance practices, and the structural integrity of older wide-body freighters. The accident also underlines risk to people on the ground, many easier to overlook in cargo flights, but tragically real in this case. From a regulatory standpoint, the FAA's emergency directive signals a potentially systemic fault, not just isolated to one aircraft. It could trigger new safety mandates, checks, and perhaps accelerate retirement of older aircraft types. The final probable cause has not yet been determined. The investigation is ongoing. Cargo manifest details. While no hazardous materials are reported as confirmed cause, investigations will dig deeper into what was on board, how cargo was loaded, secured, and distributed. Exact mechanical sequences. Although the left engine/pylon detachment is documented, investigators will need to understand why it detached, whether due to structural fatigue, maintenance error, manufacturing defect, or other contributory factors. Crew decision-making and systems response. The warning bell rang, and the crew tried to recover control. Investigators will analyze systems, warning logic, pilot actions, and whether the situation left any viable options. Fleet inspections and grounding. MD-11 aircraft across carriers will undergo thorough inspection. Older fleets may accelerate retirement or replacement. Maintenance protocols revisited. Airlines will likely review long-term structural monitoring, especially for high-stress components like engine pylons and wing joints. Cargo operations scrutiny. Especially for large, long-haul freighters, cargo loading, securing, and shift risks can become factors authorities may issue new recommendations. Ground impact risk management. Airports and industrial zones near runways may also face renewed safety zoning and emergency response reviews. Transparency in aviation safety culture. The speed of black box recovery and public updates matter. Industry watchers will look for lessons applied to avoid future tragedies. In a matter of seconds, a routine flight became one of the most tragic cargo air incidents in recent U.S. history. The crash of UPS Flight 2976 reminds us that even in the age of automated systems and global logistics, the margin for error remains thin. While investigators continue their work, the world is watching because the findings may change how cargo aircraft operate from now on. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit subscribe and ring the notification bell so you'll be first to know when the full investigation report drops. We'll dig into it, scene by scene, and walk you through the changes the industry must make. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.